And welcome everybody. This is your host, Learvok, and you're just in time for another Lego Bionicle MOC showcase. In the last few episodes, I should say, we have been talking about the members of the Brotherhood of Makuta. And I figured, why not continue that with our introduction to the other first member, or the second member. Neither of them can really decide who joined what. Of the Brotherhood of Makuta. Vamprah. This one is very different from the original Vamprah design. I originally wanted to go with the original Vamprah design, but made better. But I was not liking at all how it was turning out, and it's like posing that is impossible. So I decided to ditch the entire design and make something completely original. In this case, here we have Vamprah with these big old gun arms, as you can probably guess from this one. Now what's cool about these, as you could probably guess from the gear systems in them, is that these are actually transformable. Takes a little bit to transform though, because you got a worm gear in there. It doesn't exactly shift easily. There you go. And there it goes. Now she's got two arms now. She can use her own shadow magic as ammunition, so it's basically like every time she fires, she's using a little bit of her own HP. Sort of. More like she has a mana pool that, once it's depleted, it takes out from her health as well. If you've ever played any of those games where you get to do that with magic, it's kind of the same thing. I'm trying to think, what was I playing recently? Oh, it was Metroid Dread. You get the Phantom Cloak ability. It takes it away from your Aeon or Ion abilities, however they call it. Looks like it's Aeon, but I swear they keep calling it Ion in the game. Once you run out of the Aeon, there. Freak! I did it again. Once you run out of the Aeon ability, it starts draining your health, which sucks in that game because everything hits you like a freaking truck in that game, especially the bosses. Which, you don't need the cloak for anyway, but still, the fact they take out an entire health container every time they hit you. Terrifying. But anyway, enough talk about Samus. Let's talk about the other girl with the gun arm. The arm cannon. Yeah, I wonder why I'm talking about Metroid, huh? Honestly, I just now put that together. I didn't even intend on talking about Metroid at all. But the fact that we have an arm cannon woman here, yeah, kind of a cool serendipity right there. So the design for the arm cannon came from an urge for wanting to do something with these arms that involved using the gear transformation gimmick that was in the Robo Rider arms. And that just ended up turning into a gun because trying to put a sword or whatever in there just didn't look right. And also, it kept messing with the transformation, made it harder for you to transform. So yeah, real quick, we'll go ahead and transform this one into its gun form and show you exactly how the gun form functions. So there's two configurations you can do with this. Once you transform it, you lock the hand into these little slots here, which is what these two lift arms are for. And she can either hold it like so with the claw over her shoulder, or more typically she can hold it like this underarm in a more, I guess you could say, Samus Aranian pose, putting the hand on top of the gun arm. It actually looks a little bit better on camera than it does in person. There we go. Yeah. Part of the problem with using these extender pieces, you're kind of very limited to how you can pose things because they aren't really designed for getting them up close. But yeah. So yeah. What else here? There's not much else to say about Vamprah aside from the arms. Those are the big things I wanted to show off. Those are, as well as like the custom painted Makuta armor piece, painted in a sea blue, yeah, flat sea blue Tesser's paint. And the same with these. These were black. The hand armor pieces that were painted with the same blue paint. Main reason for doing black was so any kind of scratches in the paint that would expose the under armor over time would be more hidden. Like I can actually see right here where my fingernail is. You can barely see it on the image. Sorta. You can sort of see it in the image, but it's like where the paint's already starting to chip off. But it's very difficult to see, even in real life. Which is why, it's a lesson in painting your figures. Whenever you're priming them or painting your base coat on them, you either want to use black or white, based on what your final image is going to look like. If you want lighter color for your thing, you want to use white. If you want darker color, you want to use black, because it'll show up a little. Yeah, it'll help it out in the process. I didn't prime these. I don't prime anything because I don't know. I may want the paint to wear off eventually, so I can reuse them in something else. I don't know. Also, I don't really have any primer, and I don't feel like going out and getting primer because that's a pain in the ass to work with. I'd rather just custom paint the mask the old-fashioned way and not worry about primer. I'm not even sure if it would work with enamel. No, it should work with enamel. Yeah. I don't know. It's just painting layers. That's all you need to do. But yeah. In addition to being a bit of a bruiser with her big arms, Vamprah is also one of the shortest members of the group. And she doesn't really like that fact, so she usually doesn't, so other members kind of jab at her, calling her shorty and stuff like that, or calling her short back in. She blows up in a very Edward Elric. There we go. I have to remember the name. Remember the last name. Edward Elric way. For those of you who have seen for those of you who have not seen Full Metal Alchemist, one of the main characters, Edward Elric, is a short dude who is short for his age and doesn't like being called short. And he reacts like he does. He reacts aggressively to being called short, and it is kind of funny. It's kind of cute and charming in a way. But it's also hilarious. Let's see what else here. Has some translucent blue limbs and a translucent blue black back piece here to symbolize the shadow magic that she has taken into her body. Also, interestingly enough, both in real life, both in the real, or not in the real world, both in the world of the show, of the story, both in the world, in the fiction, And in the hypothetical TV show / game, this back piece here will actually deplete slowly. Will glow, depleting more and more as she uses more of her magic until it's empty. It doesn't mean she's out of magic. She can still tap into her life energy, like I said. But this is used as a way for her allies watching her back, so to speak, both literally and figuratively, to show that she's out of energy. Because she doesn't immediately start feeling it anymore. Because she's kind of trained that kind of feeling. It's almost like a hunger feeling for her, and she's kind of like trained herself to ignore the hunger. If you ever got hungry and you start hearing your stomach growling, you just kind of like push it through. Eventually, you just stop feeling that hunger, and then you start getting headaches. I can speak from experience. I've ignored my stomach a lot of times in focusing on stuff. Recently, I'm building my MOCs. I get so focused. I want to finish them. I want to keep working on them. I don't have time for food. I have to build. And eventually, I start getting headaches, which is kind of what happened. Kind of what ends up happening with Vamprah. So she needs to feed on. She needs to feed. Sorry if you're hearing any noises here. I'm trying to adjust my seat here. Trying to move myself and adjust myself here so I can. Anyway, my seat just didn't want to cooperate. But anyway, so she needs to feed, which is kind of apt because the original Vamprah had the Mask of Hunger, which, is the same thing with this one. So she has to feed one thing to get her energy back. It doesn't have to be dark energy. She just basically feeds on anything with life in it. And she can take as little or as much as she wants. She gets back proportional to what she, a proportion of what she sucks up. I think about half of the energy she sucks out of something she gets back. So we'll put it into number form. So if she sucks out 100 units of energy from her life form, she only gets 50 of it back. Yeah. I don't know why it feels like I'm having a hard time explaining how this kind of principle works. It's a very simple idea. So she needs to actually feed a lot more to convert all that energy into her energy. Get not only her life energy back, but her shadow magic back, which again it's sort of one and the same. But yeah. So that was Vamprah. And with that said, I'll see you guys later.